Hello and welcome to the Two&Fro podcast. I'm Diane.
I'm Carole.
And I'm Raquel.
Today we're going to be talking about relationships, and I'm so happy and excited to welcome our next guest, who is an award-winning entrepreneur and international speaker, and he also creates a platform for women going into business. He's my very good friend, and I'm so happy that he can join us today. Thank you for that, Des O'Connor.
Hi there, thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this lovely podcast.
Could you just tell us a little bit about how you got into doing what you do in terms of giving relationship advice? How did that start?
That's a very good question. When did I get married? It's usually a good sign when you can't remember when you got married. The sign that you've moved on. I think I got married in 2005 and divorced in 2007. It was a very painful divorce, and I never knew about coaching at all. I never knew it existed, and my daughter's godfather was at the time advising me to get into personal development. And I goes, what's that? What personal development? I didn't know what that was. And he started sending me inspirational tapes. Back then, you could use tapes, CDs, books, and I thought this is really interesting because, as we know, when we've all been through painful relationships,
Definitely,
and when you're going through a painful relationship, and when you feel that your partner's made you wrong, or done you wrong, you want to blame them. And the last person you want is someone to tell you, take responsibility. You don't want to do that at that time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't aware that there was a choice. I wasn't aware that I had to take responsibility because I chose my wife, so then I couldn't complain. And then I started studying. It was round about when The Secret came out. Remember The Secret?
Yes, great book.
The book and the DVD.
Yeah.
And that was it was something I really needed in my life at that time. And then I liked the whole taking responsibility, the positive thinking, because I didn't know anything about any of this stuff as well. And what I decided to do was, when the marriage was really breaking down, I was at my lowest, I decided to study life coaching. And I qualified as a life coach. And I originally studied as a life coach to help driving instructors help with their business, because at the time I was a driving instructor. And then I accidentally fell into the dating industry, because at the time I was feeling low, I lost all my money, I wasn't loving myself, and I was online and this advert popped up for a company called X Factor Dates, who were looking for people to run their dating events, their speed dating events. So I thought, okay, I'll give that a go. I just qualified as a coach. Fast forward on, I had all these women coming up to me at these speed dating events saying, oh, I can't meet someone. Oh, what can I do? And I just qualified as a coach. So I was giving them some advice and saying, you need to take responsibility, you need to do this, you need to do that. Based on, remember, I'm just green, I'm just qualified as a coach, so I know it all.
Yeah. It's funny how when you're at your lowest that your destiny comes through, isn't it?
I had all the answers. And then what happened, the more this was carrying on, I decided to speak to the director of the company, who was a woman called Sarah, and I asked her if I could do a workshop for the women, because they had a massive database. Fast forward on, I held a workshop, first workshop ever, how to find the right man or something like that. And there was about 80 women, and I gave events from there, and it just moved on. It just moved on from there.
It's amazing. 80 first seminar, 80 women. That means it was really needed.
It was amazing. I mean, I recorded it on a tape recorder, and I must listen to that. But from that event, what happened was that there was a diverse audience, and there was about 10 Asian women, 10 European, and about 10 black women, and the rest were white women. The black women at the end said, look, you need to do this for our community. And I said, what? I said, what are you talking about? She says, they said, come on, you need to do it for our community. I said, you're not going to get a black man coaching about 100 black women on how to find a black man. It's not going to happen, right? Really? So they said, no, you got to do it. So I went and did some research on it, and it was a big thing, as we know, within the community. Black dating, it was a big thing. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna do a one-off event for black women, how to find a good black man. I remember the flyer, the picture of Will Smith and Denzel on there, or something like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
that'll get them.
That was my first one, and 35 women turned up for that. And then they were then saying, my friends want to come, because black women love to network and it's good. So then they all told their friends, and then I did the next one. There was 90, then the the next one was 150. And then what was happening was I was doing them monthly, and there was about 200, 150 women coming to each event.
Wow.
From there. And that's how
word of mouth just grew, didn't it?
It just grew. And fast forward on, I went to America and I did some other stuff, and I came back. I had quite a few problems, won't go into it too much, but then I decided to take out the word black because my coaching wasn't cultural based. Everybody could use it. And I had a lot of women from other races saying, why are your events only black? Why are you not helping women from other races? Can I come along and blah, blah, blah? And I thought, that's a point. And then I just made it diverse. And then I started doing that. I was starting to write a book, which it's not going to come out for a couple of years now, but I did start it, called I Can Find You the Right Man. But it then led me to work with these women on a professional basis with their personal life. And then I was helping them with their business, hence why I work to help with women in their business. So that's a quick summary of time of how I came about the relationship stuff. I just wanted to let people know that there's a choice, and I wasn't aware that I had a choice when I wake up in the morning, Diane and the girls. I just thought if I wake up and you've upset me, you've made me upset. I choose to react, just like we all have challenges, and how do you deal with those challenges? And it's so important that people understand that you must be in control
of your own emotions.
The most important thing is the conversation you have with yourself on a daily basis, because that sets the foundation of your beliefs, how you react. And that's why there's so many people in prison or getting themselves in trouble, because they don't have a coping mechanism to count to 10 before they react.
Definitely.
They react straight away, and then it's too late in relationships. And I'm sure we've all been there. We've done stuff in the past, and we look back and think, why didn't I react that way differently?
I know, because I remember years ago, this is how we met, wasn't it? We there was a radio show, and we were giving we were both on the radio, and we were giving our opinions and sort of like and thinking about how people react to things, and how the community at the time, I think it was more of a community, you were aiming it at the community then, but like you were saying, it was quite diverse information actually. Really, even though we were from the same community, the advice that we give, and like you said about mental health and how you react to things and emotions, are very much the same across the board. Whoever you are, you're going to have troubles with your emotions and have troubles attracting the opposite sex. So that advice is valid for everyone.
Our previous episodes have been obviously about romantic relationships and coming from a woman's perspective. So really happy to have you on here to hear the male's perspective. And we've got quite a few questions, but I think one of the first ones that are standing out for us is when you go out on a first date, is there a mental checklist that a man is looking for in order to continue seeing her?
It depends on where he is, his mindset at that time. Everyone's different, I'm assuming most women that go out on a date with a guy, most women are looking for a serious relationship. I'd say most of them, not all of them, but most of them. With a man, it's very different, because I've gone out on dates where I just wanted to have some fun. I've gone out on dates where I really like this woman, and I find her physically attractive, but that's all I'm interested in. Right. And I've gone on dates where, you feel it. You get that feeling as a man, even though we don't admit it. Thinking, I just want to settle and have a serious relationship with her because I'm getting that feeling. So it all depends on where he is. And prior to that meeting, prior to people going out on dates, because I used to coach a lot of people about this, the questions that you give each other prior to that date will determine more what you're going to be asking on that date and how you want the date to portray. For example, I always say to people, if you want to find out from somebody what they are, whether they're on the same page as you. So let's look at, from example, the woman is a woman, she's 33, 34, no children, but she wants to get settled in a doctor, and she's getting a lot of pressure from her family. And she's under a lot of pressure. So he comes out and she meets me on the date. Now, she doesn't know what I'm on. She doesn't know whether she wants to get married and settled, but obviously she doesn't want to mention that on the date because it would frighten most men off. So how does she find out from this man if he's on the same page with her?
Yeah, because you might not want to bring up babies on date one.
Yeah.
Right. So what she does is, it's very simple what she does. And I send this to all my clients. She's having a meal. So picture this, the three of you having a date with this guy and you want a serious relationship. Tell me, where do you see yourself this time next year in terms of your relationship? And then when you say that, shut up. Don't say anything. And then he will tell you, well, in a year's time, I want to be, if he says to you, in a year's time, I want to be settled down with somebody really seriously because I'm in that place in my life where I want a serious relationship and I'm looking to start a family. If he says that, then you know that he's basically told you that he wants to settle down what you want to do. If he says to you in that year, oh, I just want to have fun, I'm just out there having fun, I'm not looking for anything serious, then you know that you shouldn't continue that relationship, that date again.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes they say things like, just if I meet someone, it's nice, but I will see how it goes.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and we've all been there. Every one of us, we've looked back, and there's people that we've dated in the past, and you think, why did I go there? The signs were there in the beginning. We've all been there.
Yeah.
But this way, if even if it's not the 1 year, if you say 3 years, where do you see yourself in 3 years? Okay. Now, if a man, I'm talking about a serious, focused, level-headed man, knows what he wants, knows what he wants to achieve in the future, and if he's saying, I'm looking for a woman to be part of that setup, I'm looking to get married, he's telling you what you want to hear. So, but based on him telling you, if you feel that there's a rapport with him and you're on the same page, the woman can take a step back a little bit and thinking, right, this guy saved me 3-6 months of finding this out.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's already, if he doesn't want to tell you that straight up, then he's obviously got issues with opening up emotional intelligence with you because it's a simple question. And then he's going to ask you the same question. Usually it comes back to you. And then what he says, well, tell me about you. What do you want to do in 3 years? Where do you want to be in 3 years? And then you can mirror what he said. So you both have that connection.
And do you think it's okay to ask that question on date one, or is this something you...
Definitely. Yeah. People say, I used to get a lot of grief from this. And I'm saying, look, listen, this date, it's like an interview.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's cut to the chase. This is someone that you're going to want to spend the rest of your life with, maybe. Someone you're going to possibly have sex with. Let's be real now.
Yeah.
So you'd want to know what his goals are. You know, and we're so used to being on our best behaviour when we go on dates.
It's true. Tiptoeing around it when we've got time to waste. I think that's the difference between younger people and older ones, you know, because I want to get everything out date one, so I can. There's not going to be a date two if my answers aren't right. I'm terrible.
That's right.
How do you know if you're being picky or you're sticking to your non-negotiables list? Like, you know, everybody has, I guess, an idea of what they want out of a relationship. So like you're saying, like, if you know in a year's time you want to be heading towards marriage, or you want to be heading towards a steady relationship.
Do you mean like a compromise? Or you compromise in certain things?
Because, you know, sometimes girls will say, oh, he's too short, or oh, he's not the, you know, the colour I wanted to date, or he's not this or whatever. How do you know when you're being picky or when you should stick to, no, this is what I want in my partner?
Good question. And I always say to people, write it all down. Everything you're looking for a partner, write it all down. Because if you think about it, no one can tell you whether you're being picky or not. Only you know the answer to that. And you're being picky, maybe someone else's norm. So what does that mean? It means nothing. It just means their opinion is different to yours. And their opinion is only going to be different to yours based on their beliefs and their past experiences. And this is one of the problems that we have when we're going through challenges in relationships, and usually two people that we can pick up the phone and say, this is how that person's made me wrong. You've got the person to the left who's just negative, and can you want that negativity because you want to make that person wrong, or there's the other person that you speak to that's going to tell you, you know what, you're wrong, you shouldn't have done that, you're out of order, you better apologise. It depends on the mindset that you are in, who you choose to speak to. Why am I mentioning that? Because if you want to have 6 kids, if you want your man to be 6'4" and have a 6-pack and a millionaire and all those kind of things, right? you write all those things down. Now, there's some people that get that, don't they? And there's some people that don't. How are the people getting that and other people's aren't? And it's about how I don't think it's luck. I just think that's their focus. And one of the key things is, I say to people, all the things that you're looking for, it must come back to you And what I mean by that is, who do you need to be to attract that type of person? So when everyone's written down all the list, you got 50 on the list, and then on the bottom of it, I'll get them to write down, who do I need to be to attract this type of person in my life? So, for example, if you're overweight and you want your man to be 6'3" and fit a body, and you're living in McDonald's, it's not going to work.
No.
You've got less chance of it working out. Does that make sense?
Because your interests are the same. You're not the right. You have to, even though one's a McDonald's person, the other person's a thing. That's actually your values are not even aligned when you think about it that way.
Not. Definitely. And things I say to people on a date when they're going on a first date, would you rather know if you was going through some turbulence in your relationship, if you was going through a really bad phase, because we've all been there. What positive solutions would you want? What positive solutions do you think we should do to help us to resolve it? And they're questions that are not really asked in the early stages of the relationship. So when there's a problem, people we're just reacting. To me, I always say personal development, therapy, deal with your issues if you have any issues, because we all have unresolved issues that we bring into the relationship. And it's identifying what they are and being aware of that, because a lot of people, we've all been there, where we've dated someone, they had so many issues and they didn't want to deal with it, to the point you're saying, look, let's go therapy. Oh, that's the worst thing, the therapy word. And then their issues get swept under the carpet. But what they need to understand is it always comes back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, on the line of therapy, this is a question that came from someone else, a friend of mine. If you, especially at this age bracket, a lot of people are married now, but if you were just dating somebody and somebody was unfaithful, then you might just chuck the towel in, because obviously you're just dating. When you're married, infidelity is something that you're not, you've got a lot of ties, you might have children. So what do you think somebody should accept from their partner? What do you think are sort of like good steps towards proving to the wife then that you're willing to change? Because me personally, I was kind of like, that one kind of has I have a problem with that in a way, because if you're in a relationship, you can cheat and then it's like bye-bye. But I feel like with marriage, it's a contract. So equally, you're allowed a one kind of strike thing. But after that, you've kind of... No, you guys don't agree.
When it comes to marriage, we're having maybe like more than one strike.
maybe not. Because for me, if you're married, you kind of...
The stakes are higher, is that what you're saying?
The stakes are higher, but you've made a commitment. But at the same time, I don't think just because you're married, you should be able to abuse that contract.
Definitely not.
But, so what do you think, Des? Do you think that it's kind of like a few strikes, or if you're married, you should be able to strike as many times because you've got more commitment in there? What's your take?
Everyone's different. There's not one rule that fits everybody. When it comes to infidelity and all those things, one, we don't know why it happened. And I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, but it's the reason. There's a root of a reason.
Yeah.
And
so that shouldn't they be willing to go to counselling then, or something? Is that therapy the bad word again?
I was just about to say that they should need to work through it, and if they need to work through it, and then they come to some. Because usually when you go to therapy, it's quite interesting, because I've been therapy in relationships before in the past, that he wasn't aware that's what they were thinking. And then you think, well, I didn't realise that. And this is someone that you've been married for or been with for several years. And it could be something simple as she's saying, oh, I wish that you just bring me tea in my bed. It just sets my day off. And he's thinking it's not a big deal because she comes down and makes it herself. That's just an example. And you'd be surprised what really comes out and what issues come to surface as well. That's all interlinked. So there's not this, because I can't say you need to do this, because it may not work for someone who's going through that. It may actually do the opposite. It may have a more of a damaging effect. So if anybody's they're married, or even if they're not married and they experience that, go to couples counselling, because at least I would always say to people, before you say you're going to walk, try every single angle that you possibly can do to try and work it out. So then that way, when you leave, you have no regrets.
So, but what if say if the guy's just going, if he's just crying then, and he's not saying therapy, is that a bad sign then, or not really?
If he's, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to do the therapy with you, then suggest that he gets one-on-one himself. He may because the ego. I've had therapy and I've broken down linked with my mum who passed away.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I just thought they asked me a question linked to my mum, and that was in my early days when I was really breathing badly, and I just broke down. And she's never. This was in the early days of someone I was dating. She's never seen me like that. So it just depends, and it may be from the man's point of view, it may mean that that's a sign that he needs help.
Yes.
That's a sign he needs to work one-on-one with somebody, and then when he builds up that confidence, and then you can build it. Maybe the therapy, the two of you, is too much for him because it's new. And a lot of men, unfortunately, do have that problem because they neglect it, they don't want to do it, and it's usually because of fear.
Yeah. So it sounds like vulnerability is important, I guess, in a relationship. What would you think is a key to having a happy relationship? What do you think makes a relationship work?
Communication, you're saying.
Communication is so important. The respect from each other.
Keeping it new, I
time.
think, as well, isn't it? Would you say keeping it new, I think, and finding new ways to keep it new?
Communication, finding it new, and having time away. Go away for weekend breaks, spending that time. If you have kids, we know it can be difficult, but, you know, when I was married, I mean, it wasn't all bad, and as you know, it wasn't all bad, but we had 2 young children, and we would, every Sunday, without fail, I don't know, after the kids had gone to bed, 9 o'clock, that was our DVD and wine.
Oh, lovely.
No matter what. The thing is, we'd have wine, but I get drunk very quick. So
me too. Yeah, I'm terrible. 1 glass of wine, cheap days.
Lightweight.
And it was rosé. That's when I got introduced to rosé.
Oh,
she was good because she was a good cook, and she'd make like a 3-course meal. She'd do like the
that sounds
the prawn cocktail and all that kind of stuff, because I liked all of that.
Lovely,
but it was nice, and it was Sunday evening. The kids had gone to bed 8 or 9, and that did help. There, we looked forward to that. We watched. We had Sky. You know, remember Sky Movies? So lots of movies. Netflix wasn't around then, so it was good. So it's all about. And like I said before, everyone's different. You know what works. What works? Some people like to go away on a caravan. You never see me doing that.
No.
No camping for you then, Des. No camping.
No camping for me. But everyone's different, and communicating. Don't stop. I don't even say, you know, reading relationship books to how you can improve it, because one of the key problems that happens is we get so complacent. People are so complacent. Don't think they've got to try anymore. Let themselves go.
Yep.
And then what happens then? You know, a man's dating a woman that she was really nice and slim and fit, and then she piles on the weight after the children, doesn't find us attractive, and then he has an affair. That happens, and vice versa. So
because I think they can
get comfortable,
and just think, I've got myself someone now.
Keep trying, like we said, make it new.
Very common,
Des, I know that during this time as well, there's a lot of single ladies that are finding it quite hard to meet guys during this COVID season. So we've brought it to the online dating. I think a lot of online dating apps have been a huge help during this time to do the social distancing dates and stuff like that. But what advice would you give to a lady on how to stand out from the crowd?
That's a really good question. And my view on online dating, I mean, I've made this suggestion to a lot of people before, and they disagreed with me, and then they reflected back and they said, you know something, it makes sense. So let's have a look at this. Let's break it down. Online dating is for people to go online to meet somebody they want to date. And possibly have a serious relationship with online dating. Now, as we know, click somebody you like. It's usually going to be their best picture, as we know.
Or 10 years ago picture.
Their write-up's going to be not 100% honest, as we know. Okay, and then the list goes on. So at that stage, first of all, there's this dishonesty floating about in the air, which is not a nice feeling. So then, therefore, you're going to be communicating to them, and they're going to be telling you what you want to hear. And we've all done it. We've all been there, okay? Now, I look at that and I think, wouldn't you rather, say like you went on online dating looking for a guy and you've seen this guy you like and his name's John. And wouldn't you like to know some people that know John? Wouldn't you like to know some people? Wouldn't you like to know some information about him just to see what his hobbies are and how he conducts himself? Now, I don't see the difference between that and Facebook. And the reason why I say this is because if I wanted to date you, for example, Diane, we've got lots of mutual friends, right?
Yeah.
So I could then connect to my mutual friends and say, what's the deal with Diane Kerr? And they would say to me, A, B, C, D. And D, F, G. And then I can look at your pictures. I can look at what your interests are. I can look how you conduct yourself. I can look at you. I'll get more of an understanding of you as a person. Because to me, there's no difference between that and online dating. Online dating, you got to pay for it. At least with Facebook, you can see people raw as they are.
I agree, actually. That's really interesting. But I think the thing is, for me, with Facebook, that's a really interesting concept. And I think that's really clever, actually. The idea of contacting someone and saying, what's the deal with your friend, is probably different. What I don't like is sometimes you get those random people from another country who are trying to, who want
but you know,
to allow the message.
Ignore them.
Block. So that. It's when people drop into your DMs or drop into your inbox.
And they've not got a mutual friend.
And they don't have a mutual friend. But yeah.
It is like a job application, isn't it? I know you've got people interviewing you. They search through your LinkedIn and your social medias to see what kind of person you are.
Yeah, I think that's...
And also, if a man's in a relationship or not, or serious relationship, you don't check him out on Facebook. You definitely won't know it on online dating.
That's true.
So if you've got a friend that you know well, and say, what's the deal with this guy? And that way you think, oh, okay, well, he's available.
Will you be judged for the fact that you had to fish him out, though?
No, who cares? Listen, if he's the right one for you, Diane, and you're settled down and you're married or you got all what you want, are you really going to care what people think?
Oh, you're the right one for me, Des. I'm not looking. It wasn't for me. But the
thing is, I've got so many people who've got opinions about me over the years, and it affects me. It's not that it affected me because I just look at it as hot air. It doesn't affect me. Everyone is always going to have an opinion of you. Think about all the relationships you've had, what you do, people are always going to have an opinion of you, whether you like it or not. It's what you do about that. Do you take that on board and say, actually, I think he's right. I think she's saying that I'm skinny or I'm overweight or I'm ugly or bald. So what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Thank you so much for joining us. Can you let everybody know where they can find you and what your new pursuits are? Where can we find you? What can everyone look forward to?
All the information is at www.desoconnors.com. My next event was meant to be next month, but because of the lovely COVID, it's been postponed till March 27th, which is going to be a combination of women in business empowerment and my fashion show, because I'm launching my new women's high heel shoes as well.
Ooh, amazing.
So the good thing about the shoes is that's the only shoe in the world that improves women's lives personally and professionally. So for argument's sake, you buy a pair of shoes and then you tick on the box that you're looking to improve your relationship situation. There could be a free video online course like this provided to the woman free of charge for buying my shoes. So I'm still using the personal development ethos that I've been both linking with. So then you're improving your life at the same time as buying shoes as well.
So what size shoes do you go up to? I've got big feet.
She's a very tall girl, I've
had Asian women that's got tiny feet, and I've had a lot of African women with large feet and wide feet. And to be honest, I'm in the process of exploring whether I can do the both, because I want my shoes to cater for everybody. So whether you're a size 12 or 1, whether you're a size 9, 10, 11, I want to
everyone with big feet deserve love, right?
Oh,
that's right.
I have a man.
All right, thank you very much.
So much. Thank you.
And we look forward to that.
I hope it was informative.
It really was.
It was
lovely speaking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Enjoy.
And anytime you want me to come back again, please let me know. So it'd be great.
Part 2
love
coming.
that,
Yes, definitely. All right then. Thank you. Well, that was the end of our show. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it.
And do leave comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content.
And we'll put down Des O'Connor's information in our description below. So please make sure you check out everything he's up to. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.